Are you gonna move? Oh, I got one. There we go. There it is. Here we go. Picking apart the wood. Come on, buddy. You're about to be on YouTube. Because you are starring in the Riot Baits mini fuzzy beaver video. All right, guys, today we are out poking around. Summertime fishing, you need a little Texas rig bait, rigged up with a nice little small profile like this little 3.25 inch mini fuzzy beaver by Riot Baits to poke around is what I call it, okay? So I'm gonna be looking for these different areas right now. I got lay down trees behind me. That's what I'm fishing right now. I'm gonna look for little gunk piles. Anytime there's like something I just need to flip a little bait in, this little mini fuzzy beaver is the perfect bait to flip around in there to catch those summertime fish. You guys, the fish spread out in the summer, so you've got to have a lot of different baits, a lot of versatile baits, and this is gonna be one that you guys are really gonna like, and I'm gonna break it down for you first with rigging. All right, guys, real simple setup for this. I peg a tungsten weight here. I've got a 3/8 ounce all the way up to a 1/2 ounce is the most common weights I'm using. You can go heavier if you've got heavy things to punch, but this is my most common when I'm really just kind of fishing the conditions I have. I don't really know what I'm gonna be fishing, so I wanna have this rigged up. I've got a little 2/0 grip pin wide gap mustad hook. And then what I've got is I've got the little mini beaver here, and I chartreuse the tips. I love chartreusing this time of the year because it just gives a little more color. It mimics those juvenile bluegill that are all over in most of these lakes. There we go. There we go. Deep in that tree. And you know what, guys? I flipped that right into the base of that tree, because a lot of times, you know, the branches and stuff are good, but the best spots are gonna be really around the trunk of that tree. So if you can get that bait back in there, it's always a good thing. Now let's talk real quick about this bait, you guys. So small little profile, mimics a lot of these juvenile fish that are in the lake this time of the year. But the other thing is, we've got these little appendages, which I made the chartreuse, talked about earlier. Those things kick. As you're working this bait up and down, they kick. So do the little appendages on the side, they flare kick. And then you've got this, these little ribs and stuff on there, right? That's displacing more water. So that gives off more vibrations, give this bait a little bit more movement, just gives the fish one more reason to come in and bite that bait. Boom. What's up, guys? Let's talk about retrieval. We're coming down to a nice little lay down tree here. Perfect opportunity to pick up this little flipping bait. The heat of the day, we've got a lot of shade under here. We can naturally assume there's gonna be some fish down there. And so what we're gonna do is make a little flip into there. Kind of want to get it past our target, because the idea is we're just gonna bring this bait. It's rigged up weedless. We're just gonna bring this bait over all the limbs that we possibly can. We're in no hurry. These fish, they get lethargic and stuff in the shade and everything. So we're just gonna pop, as we bring it over a limb, we feel it come over there and get feel that weight again, we'll let it drop back down. Then we lift up until we feel it hit up against the branch, pop over it, let it sink all the way back down. And we'll just keep repeating this until all of a sudden we feel weight. A lot of times you won't even feel the bite. You'll just lift up and you'll feel like weight, like maybe it's a limb, but you'll feel a little bit pull back. You gotta be ready to set the hook on that thing, because he's also feeling weight and stuff, and he might let go. And so every time you pop over a limb, let it drop back down. I like to control it too. I don't like it falling too quick, because I don't know if those fish are all the way on the bottom or they're right underneath that limb. So I really wanna fish that whole water column real thoroughly. All right, guys, we're talking about retrieval. Really, you're just, I call it probing around. You're poking, probing, whatever. So right now on this tree, I'm gonna cast past this tree, and I wanna feel every limb down there. There's no reason not to be bumping into whatever you can. This bait's weedless, and these fish, they're gonna be hanging out in that cover. So the more you're hitting that cover, the more you're in the right spot. But a point that I should definitely make is you gotta make sure you have the right equipment, right? So I've got 20-pound Seagar Tatsu fluorocarbon line, because if I connect with a big one like I'm looking for in here, that fish, it's gonna be on. That fish does not plan on just laying over and coming onto the boat. So there's gonna be friction when it's fraying all that stuff. So I want some nice, heavy, good line. So I'm all the way up on that 20-pound class. Then the stout rod depends on what kind of cover I'm fishing. This is a medium heavy, 7'6" medium heavy rod. More on the heavy side, because I'm fishing some wood and stuff. But depending on if you're just fishing some grass or just some light brush and stuff like that, you don't need as heavy a setup. But on the other side of that, if you're fishing real thick cover, if you're punching through heavy mats, you're gonna want a nice heavy rod. When you're fishing structure like this, it's really important to be visualizing what's going on down there. And so as I'm lifting this, you'll feel yourself coming over a branch. It's basically, you feel just like a little resistance. And then it actually, you'll feel it tick because that bait's finally, or the weight has finally hit that branch. Right now I'm on a branch, so I'm gonna shake it and it just came over. Now I just feel weightlessness because that bait's falling now back down to the bottom. And every time I hit a limb, I'll shake it a little bit and stuff until it pops free. And you gotta be ready because sometimes you'll get bit. And as it comes free, follow that bait back down. I let that bait sink all the way to the bottom, watching the line, because if I get bit, I wanna be ready to set that bait. So, and that's all I'm doing, no matter what cover I'm fishing. If I'm fishing grass, if I'm fishing trees like this, whatever it is, I wanna feel out what's down there. And the more you're in contact with that bait, the more you're visualizing what's going on, you'll prepare yourself to be ready for that bite. But not only that, you'll start picking up on the nuances. You'll go, wow, every time I lift up a few feet and I hit that first limb, that's where I'm getting bit. So maybe those fish aren't right on the bottom. Maybe they're suspending around those limbs a little bit more. And maybe that's what I gotta do to get the bite, is hit a limb and shake it. Hit a limb and shake it. I know a lot of guys that have won tournaments by hitting limbs or dock pilings that are the horizontal pilings that they get that bait pegged against it and they shake it right at that piling. That fish will come up and nail it. All right, let's talk about summer locations. You guys, the fish are just like us. In the morning time and evening time, they're gonna be out. It's lower light, but it's also cooler. So they're gonna be moving around. That's when they actively feed. That's when, you know, these reaction baits work real well. But in the heat of the day, like right now, those fish get hot. They hunker down in the shade line and stuff. So now one of my favorite areas to fish is these lay down trees. We've got a nice steep bank. So these fish, they can be tied up shallow in a couple feet of water, or they can come out to the ends of these trees where it really spreads out. There's a lot of branches and stuff. They can hide in the shade out in 15, 20 feet of water where the water temps are also cooler. And so a great place to work a weedless bait like this. Also, when you have cover like this, you have everything comes here. You've got the little bluegill, you've got shad, a lot of things head for the shade this time of the day. And so these fish, when they do decide to feed, they don't have to go far because the food source is here as well. And with this little bait, I can really move it slow through here because these fish, they're not actively feeding. So sometimes it takes a little, it takes a few casts, or it takes really slowly working this bait to get these fish fired up to actually eat. But it's good to keep in mind, if you know they're looking for shade, if they're looking to kind of hunker down in something, it doesn't really matter the trees, it matters finding what that is on your body of water, right? So that could be docks, that could be, there we go. Oh, look at this, you guys are gonna like this. Remember I said everything hunkers down, okay? How about crappie, huh? Everything likes to hang out in these trees. So you better believe where we've got crappie, we're gonna have some big bass too, right? So, I mean, I don't know what more evidence you guys need of showing that there is life around these things. Like I said, that could be docks, that could be gunk piles. There's all kinds of little gunk piles. And when I mean gunk piles, I mean sticks and stuff that have blown into the corners. It can be grass mats, tulies. Anything these fish can hide and hang out in the shade this time of the day will be perfect. And throw in a nice little weedless small profile, because this will be able to get in any cracks. This will be able to get down in between stuff really effectively. So always have it tied up. You will be happy because you might not have a whole lot of targets. You might be, Travis, I don't have that many trees. That means the trees you do in your pond or lake are gonna be that much more productive. They're gonna be higher percentage areas. This is what we're looking for in these trees, baby. Ho, 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 ho. Riot baits, baby. Holy cow. Guys, great fat little fish. Middle of the day right now. It's about 90 degrees. And we're catching some quality bass. So you want to use heavy enough weight to get through this stuff. There we go. Oh, what the heck? Oh, look. All right, guys. Well, we've demonstrated this bait will catch all species as well. Shoot, I want to get one more cast in there too before we blow this out, but that is awesome. There we go. There we go. Riot baits, fuzzy beaver right there. Guys, it's about taking advantage of opportunities in the summer. We talked about those fish, they move around, they spread out. And so if you've got a bait rigged up that can fish a lot of different situations, anytime we come on trees, gunk piles, whatever it is, if we're ready to fish it, we're gonna be able to take advantage of that opportunity, flip in there with a great bait and have some great results. So you guys, 3.25-inch mini fuzzy beaver by Riot Baits. Great little bait, great profile. During the summer, you can't really go wrong with that. As you can see, nothing wrong with that. I'll catch that all day long. All right, guys, hopefully this information helps you. I want to hear if you catch some fish on it, so make sure you hashtag Lucky Tackle Box, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and show me your fish catches so I can share it on your adventures. Anyway, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you on the next one.